You got it. Everything you said you wanted. The job. The money. The relationship. The body. The life everyone said would make you happy. And you wake up feeling nothing. Worse than nothing. Empty. Hollow. Like you want to race to nowhere. Oh, let me introduce myself. I'm Zeus. And before you ask, yes, that Zeus. I've watched humans chase their tails for millennia, and the pattern never changes. You finally catch what you've been running after, and the moment you do, it turns to dust in your hands. But here's what destroys you. It's not the things that failed you. It is the terrifying realization that getting everything you wanted proved you were chasing the wrong things all along. You didn't lose. You won. And winning feels exactly like losing. That's the cruelest joke I've ever watched humans play on themselves. Let me show you why you're empty, and why you knew you would be. You were sold a story. A very specific story. It went like this. Get the degree. You'll feel accomplished. Get the promotion. You'll feel validated. Get the partner. You'll feel complete. Get the house. You'll feel successful. Get the body. You'll feel confident. Get the followers. You'll feel seen. So you did. One by one. You checked every box. You climbed every ladder. You hit every milestone. You became everything you thought you needed to become. And here you are, at the top, looking down, feeling absolutely nothing. Because here's what they didn't tell you. Those things were never designed to fill you. They were designed to keep you running, to keep you producing, to keep you consuming, to keep you too busy chasing to notice the emptiness was there the whole time. You weren't working toward fulfillment. You were running from a void, and you thought if you ran fast enough, achieved enough, accumulated enough, the void would disappear. It didn't disappear. You just got better at ignoring it. Until you stopped. Until you arrived. Until you got everything, and suddenly there was nothing left to chase. Nothing left to distract you. And the void was still there. Waiting. Patient. Exactly where you left it. You thought achievement would cure emptiness. Like pouring water into a cup with no bottom. You kept pouring, kept achieving, kept adding, and wondered why you were still thirsty. And it gets worse. Because you knew this would happen. Look at what you chased. Really. Look, you didn't chase what you actually wanted. You chased what you thought would make people see you differently. What would make them finally respect you, validate you, envy you, prove you were worth something. You chased the job title so people would stop asking, what do you do with that look? You chased money so you could finally feel like you made it. You chased the relationship so you wouldn't be the single one anymore. You chased the body so people would look at you the way they look at others. Every single thing you chased was about someone else's perception, someone else's approval, someone else's standard of enough. You climbed a ladder, you got to the top, and you realized it was leaning against the wrong wall. And the worst part, you knew. The whole time, you knew. Every achievement felt hollow the moment you got it. Every milestone felt empty the second you crossed it. Every goal felt meaningless once accomplished. But you kept going, kept chasing, kept thinking the next one would be different, the next promotion, the next relationship, the next achievement, the next level. You became addicted to the chase because the chase gave you purpose, direction, meaning something to wake up for, something to work toward, something to postpone the inevitable question, what am I actually doing this for? And now you're here. You got everything. And you're forced to answer that question, and the answer is devastating. You did all of this to prove something to people who weren't even watching, to fill a void that can't be filled with external validation, to become someone you don't even recognize anymore. And it gets worse. Look at yourself, the person you became chasing all of this. You sacrificed everything real for everything impressive. You traded time with people you love for time building a career. They'll forget you had 6 months after you're gone. You traded experiences that feed your soul for achievements that feed your ego. You missed birthdays, canceled plans. Said I'm too busy so many times, it became your identity. You were always working, always grinding, always hustling, always one more thing away from finally being enough. And the people who loved you, they learned to love your absence. They learned to stop expecting you. They learned to stop asking. They learned you'd choose the goal over them every single time. You told yourself it was temporary, that once you got there, once you made it, once you achieved enough, you'd slow down, you'd reconnect. You'd finally be present. But here's the part that destroys you. You're there now. You made it, and you don't know how to stop. Because stopping means facing what you lost. Who you lost. Who you lost. Who you became. You optimized yourself into a machine. Productive, efficient, successful, empty. You have everything, and you are no one. You built an empire and lost yourself in the construction. You won the game and forgot why you were playing. The person you were before you started chasing. That person is gone, buried under achievements, under titles, under things, under the weight of everything you thought would make you matter. And the cruel irony, that person, the one you buried, was probably closer to happy than you'll ever be now. Comment below. What did you sacrifice to get where you are? What did you trade that you can't get back? I already know, but you need to say it out loud. You don't want to answer. No go, because admitting what you lost means admitting you chose wrong. You built a life everyone admires, and you're dying inside it. Success was supposed to feel different. You imagined this moment. Reaching the goal. Getting the thing. Becoming the person. You thought you'd feel pride. Joy. Satisfaction. Relief. Finally, but it doesn't feel like that. Standing at the edge of a cliff, realizing there's nothing on the other side. A trophy made of paper. Applause in an empty room, because you realize now, achievement doesn't create fulfillment. It just reveals its absence. Success doesn't fill the void. It just makes it impossible to ignore. Before, you could blame the emptiness on not having enough, not achieving enough, not being enough. The emptiness made sense. It was motivation. It was drive. It was fuel. But now you have enough. You achieved enough. You are enough by every external measure. And you're still empty. And now there's no excuse, no explanation, no one to blame. The emptiness isn't because you're missing something external. It's because you're missing something internal. Something you had before you started chasing. Something you buried. Something you traded for all of this. You traded your soul for success. And success is a terrible exchange rate. Every goal you hit revealed another goal behind it. Every achievement unlocked another level. Every win just moved the finish line. You thought you were climbing towards something. You were running on a treadmill, exhausting yourself, going nowhere. And the people celebrating your success. They see the highlights, the wins, the achievements. They do on to see you at 3 a.m. staring at the ceiling, wondering why everything you have still feels like nothing. They don't see you scrolling through photos of who you used to be, before the grind, before the hustle, before you sacrificed everything real for everything impressive. They see success. You feel failure. And that gap is where you live now. Alone, empty, pretending. You're not empty of things. You have plenty of things. You're empty of meaning, of connection, of purpose that actually matters, of feeling like your life is yours. You're empty of presence. You haven't been truly present in years. You've been performing, achieving, optimizing, but not living, not feeling, not being. You're empty of relationships that see you, because you haven't let anyone see you. You've shown them your achievements, your success, your highlight reel. But not you. Never you. You're empty of joy, real joy. Not the performance of happiness for social media, not the brief dopamine hit of external validation, but deep, quiet, sustained joy. When's the last time you felt that? Can you even remember? You're empty of the person you were before you started this race. Before you learned to measure your worth in metrics, before you turned your life into a performance review, before you optimized yourself into oblivion, that person had dreams that weren't about proving anything. That person laughed without calculating if it was impressive. That person connected without wondering what value it provided. That person was alive in ways you forgot were possible, and you killed that person. Slowly. Achievement by achievement. Goal by goal. Success by success. You suffocated them under the weight of everything you thought mattered. If you're still watching, you're recognizing the life you built isn't the life you wanted. Subscribe if you want more truth. That hurts. Most people run. You're still here. That counts for something. And now comes the hardest part. There's no such thing as enough. Not the way you're looking for it. You keep thinking. One more achievement, one more level, one more zero in the bank account. One more thing. Then I'll feel complete. Then I'll be satisfied. Then I'll finally be enough. You won't? Because enough isn't a destination. It's not a number. It's not an achievement level. It's not external at all. Enough is internal. It's something you decide, something you feel, something you are, not something you get. But you can't accept that, because if enough is internal, then everything you've been chasing was pointless. If fulfillment comes from within, then every sacrifice you made was wrong. If the answer was inside you all along, then you wasted years running away from yourself. So you keep chasing, because stopping means facing that truth. And that truth is unbearable. You built your entire identity on achievement, on goals, on becoming, on more. If you stop, who are you? If you arrive, what do you do? If you're already enough, what was all of this for? Those questions terrify you. So you add another goal, another target, another thing to chase, another reason to keep running, another excuse to not look in the mirror and ask, what the hell am I doing? But here's what you need to understand. You can achieve everything on earth and still be empty, because emptiness isn't a lack of achievement. It's a lack of self, a lack of truth, a lack of alignment between who you are and how you're living. You're living someone else's life, chasing someone else's goals, meeting someone else's standards, impressing someone else's crowd, and wondering why it feels like dying. So here's your choice. The real one. The one you've been avoiding. Option 1. Keep chasing. Keep adding. Keep achieving. Keep running from the emptiness by filling your life with more impressive things that do you and actually fill you. Die successful. Die empty. Die wondering what it was all for. Option 2. Stop. Actually stop. Not pause to plan the next goal. Stop. Sit with the emptiness. Feel it. Understand it. And realize it's not emptiness. It's space. Space for what actually matters. What actually fills you. What actually makes your life yours. Stopping is terrifying. Because without the next goal, without the next achievement, without the next distraction, you're forced to face yourself. The real self. The one you buried, the one you've been running from. But that self is where the answer lives. Not in the next promotion. Not in the next relationship. Not in the next achievement. In you. In who you actually are when you're not performing. When you're not proving. When you're not chasing. You have to go back. Not to where you started, but to who you were before you started. Before you learned to measure yourself by what you have, before you turned your life into a competition, before you traded being for becoming, that version of you knew something you forgot. You don't become enough. You already are. You just have to stop trying to prove it. The void isn't filled by having. It's filled by being, by presence, by connection, by meaning that comes from inside, not outside. It's filled by moments that don't look good on a resume, conversations that don't increase your net worth, relationships that don't provide value but provide love, time that isn't productive but is alive. It's filled by making choices that are yours, not society's, not your parents', not the invisible crowd you're performing for. Yours. It's filled by doing things that matter to you, even if they don't impress anyone, by pursuing what makes you feel alive, even if it doesn't make you successful, by choosing presence over productivity, being over becoming, enough over more. The emptiness you feel is your soul screaming that you're living wrong, that you're chasing wrong, that you're measuring wrong, that you traded what matters for what doesn't. And until you listen, until you stop, until you choose differently, the emptiness will stay. No matter what you achieve, no matter what you get, no matter how impressive your life looks from the outside, you can have everything and feel nothing, or you can have less and feel everything. That's the choice. That's always been the choice. You wanted me to explain why you're empty. Now you know, not because you don't have enough, but because you chased everything except what would actually fill you. You climbed the wrong ladder. You won the wrong game. You became the wrong person. And somewhere deep down, you always knew. You just didn't want to admit it. Because admitting it means everything you sacrificed was for nothing. Everything you achieved was meaningless. Everything you became was a mistake. But it's not too late. It's never too late. To stop, to choose differently, to rebuild a life that's actually yours, to fill the void with what actually matters instead of what just looks impressive. I'll keep watching. I've got eternity. Most of you will keep chasing. Most of you will add another goal. Most of you will die successful and empty. Most of you will never stop long enough to realize you're running the wrong direction. Prove me wrong. Next time, I reveal why you compare yourself to people you don't even like, why their success feels like your failure, why you can't celebrate anyone without it feeling like you're losing, the prison you built, the torture you chose, the game you can't stop playing. See you then. If you can handle more truth,